city is alive on 97.3.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Citi News.
It's midday. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Citi Prime News. My name is Zoe Abubeduado, and I'm here with
Kweku Ediamansa.
The news is live from our studio at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. Coming up, Ghana Education Service closes Binduri Senior High School temporarily due to the lack of food for students.
They are providing them food 2 times, even 3 times a day. But here, only once. Even though we cook without salt, oil, you will not get. Only banku throughout the week.
Also coming up, minority in parliament demands stakeholder engagement over government's plans to lease the Tema oil refinery.
We believe that contract is inimical. That contract will not inure to the benefit of the country. That contract will not benefit the ordinary Ghanaian, and that contract does not meet value for money.
Still ahead in the bulletin, family of the woman allegedly murdered by her police boyfriend in Kumasi unhappy with adjournment of case on the first day of trial.
We are really blessed. I'm really blessed. When I came, the atmosphere.
We do apologize for that insert. And later on in this bulletin, funeral rites for Ghanaian literary icon Ama Ata Edu underway at the forecourt of the State House.
A multitude of values, cultural, economic, religious, and social, that faced women.
This news is also live on all our partner stations across the country. We are live in the Western region on Premier 100.5 FM in Takrady and Beach 105.5 FM in Takrady. In the Bono region, Greener FM 95.9 in Sunyani Ashanti region, Orange FM 107.9 in Kumasi, Volta region, Global 105.1 FM in Ho, Adanu 107.7 FM in Adakluwaya. In the Northern region, we're on Diamond 93.7 FM in Tamale, Upper West, West Link 88.1 FM in Laura, Upper East, Source 100.1 FM in Boko, and in the Northeast region, we're on Scarp 101.3 FM in Nankpanduri. We are also live across the globe on citynewsroom.com and on CityTube on YouTube.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. We start from the Upper East region where the Binduri Community Day Senior High School has been shut down temporarily. Authorities hope to reopen the school on Monday, July 17, 2023. This follows agitation by students who boycotted classes to protest the inability of the school's administration to provide them with a one hot meal daily for some time now. Here are some of the students.
I'm attending Binduri Senior High School. My concern is that since we came here, we are no more needles again. We want our uniform, no toilet for us. Anytime we want to go to school, we always go to the bush. Whatever, if something happens to us, what would they say? But if there is no uniform, no uniform.
They are providing them food 2 times, even 3 times a day. But here, only once. Even though we cook without salt, oil, you will not get. Only banku throughout the week. We will not get anything. We are here suffering every day. What is wrong with us? Look at you have been wearing this thing. Yes. You are wearing this thing. We don't have Friday well. Outing. We don't have outing. Look at green check. These people are wearing green check. When they come, they have to get what? They have to get their big things. But still, they have not provided anything. We have come up. We need dormitories. They tell us that you should come back.
So those were some students of the Binduri Community Day Senior High School in the Upper East region there. Let's go over the phone line and speak to the Binduri District Director of Education, John Saka Jagwe. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Was your outfit alerted about the situation before the school was shut down?
Can you take it again?
I was asking if your outfit was alerted about the situation with regards to the food before being shut down.
Yeah, it was on the 2nd of June when I paid a visit to the school with the board chairman, when the headmaster drew my attention that the caterer had stopped supplying, cooking food for the students. Now, the school is a community-day senior high school, and the students come to school from home, and they are entitled to lunch, which is provided by a caterer. So when we contacted the caterer, she said she had run out of resources to continue cooking, and she was still waiting to be paid. So yes, we had that prior notice about the situation.
Okay, and what was your initial response?
Our initial response was that the headmaster informed the student body about the intention of the caterer to stop cooking. And so it happened to coincide with their short break. They had about 1 week break that they were to go home. So he told them to prepare and come back, to prepare when they are returning after the break, because the caterer will not be able to continue feeding until she is paid her monies. So when they returned from the break and the caterer was still not around, he invited the students and suggested to them that he wanted them to reduce their contact hours so that the schools will close earlier than usual, in order not to overburden them. Well, the students went to think about it, and then they came back and told the headmaster that they will manage with the situation, hoping that the caterer would resume cooking for them as soon as possible.
Okay. Now, was the caterer being provided with food items, or she's given money to buy the food stuff?
That much I really don't know, but I believe they normally are given money. I don't know exactly the process or the procedure, but I believe they are normally paid to provide the service.
And do you know how much she's being owed and for what period?
I don't have those details, please.
Okay, now the students are entitled to the 1 hot meal per day, not so?
Yes.
So why then were school authorities now negotiating with them to understand the situation when it is their duty to ensure that the meal is provided?
It is their duty through the caterer. And the caterer had informed the head that she's not going to be able to continue to cook because she has not been paid. She has not got the resources to continue cooking.
Okay, so as District Director of Education, what have you done so far? You visited a school quite recently and you asked the students to go home. What have you done so far to ensure that this situation is resolved? And we know the final year students are still in school because they have to prepare for their WASI as well. What are you doing about the situation?
The students themselves decided to go home. I didn't go to ask them to go home. When I heard that they had decided to boycott lectures to go home, I went there and met them and tried to appeal to them after having spoken with the caterer who had promised that she was going to be able to continue cooking on Monday, that is next Monday, the 17th of July, to see if they could bear with the situation and continue with normal classes until Monday. But they were hesitant. They were not ready to rescind that decision to go home. And considering the fact that they were gathered around there in their numbers and were chanting war songs, it was not advisable to keep them around. So if they were not ready to rescind their decision to continue with teaching and learning until Monday, then once they have decided to go home, we have no other option than to ask them to be home, hoping that the caterer will be back by Monday to continue cooking for them.
Based on
as I speak, the caterer has reassured us that she will be around on Monday to provide their hot lunch for them.
Okay, so they are returning to school on Monday?
Yes, please.
Okay. Now, there are also complaints about lack of toilet facilities. Is this something you are aware about?
Yes, I'm aware of that toilet. It's a toilet facility that has been constructed in the school but has not yet been handed over to the school. And we have discussed that with the District Assembly and the Honorable Member of Parliament, who is pursuing that at that level in Accra. I spoke with him recently, and he says he's still on the issue, and that very soon the toilet facility will be handed over and then made available for use by the students.
Okay, finally, before I let you go, final year students in particular, what arrangements have been made for them if first year, second years are not being provided with a hot meal, or in case they go to school and they do not have access to the meal? What arrangements have been made for the final year students? Because they are preparing to write their WASI and are supposed to end in September.
The final year students, as they are day students, continue to take care of themselves because they have to prepare for their exams. And I had a meeting with them yesterday and gave them every assurance that the caterer is hoping to come back or will be back on Monday to continue cooking for them. And they have listened to us. So the teaching and learning is going on smoothly in the school as of now.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. That is John Soka Jagri, who is the Binduri District Director of Education. If you are joining us, the news is that the Binduri Community Day Senior High School in the Upper East Region has been shut down, hoping to be reopened on Monday, July 17. Now, this follows some agitation by students. They have boycotted classes to protest the inability of the administration, the school's administration, to provide them with one hot meal a day for some time now. So we'll go to Kweku, who has some other stories.
Now, the Electoral Commission, EC, has granted provisional certificates to 7 new groups that aspire to become political parties in Ghana. The groups include the People's Redemption Movement, People's Liberation Front, Ghana People's Party, African Continental Unity Party, United One Ghana, Begin Ghana Party, and the Ghana Evergreen Party. According to the Electoral Commission, this step forms part of the initial processes of becoming a political party in the country. Director of Electoral Services at the EC, Dr. Serebo Kwaku, has been highlighting the subsequent steps needed to be taken before granting a permanent certificate to operate.
Is that you apply for registration as a new political party, then the commission will gazette your party name, slogan, symbol, colors. Then we'll give you forms. Then you go to the field to look for district founders. So you should have a founding member in each of the districts. Then you're supposed to have national, regional, and district offices. So now that we have given them the provision certificate, it means that they can now go to the field to acquire all those things. When all these things are done and their party constitution is gazetted, then we can grant them the final certificate. So for now, they are not political parties. They are in the process of becoming, but they are not yet. In line with the Act 574 of the political parties law. Some may even come for the provision certificate and you don't hear from them again. So it depends on how they themselves are able to organize and meet the requirements that I've taken you through.
Dr. Serebo Kwaku is the Director of Electoral Services at the Electoral Commission, EC.
The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS Community Court of Justice, CCJ, has thrown out a case against the government of Ghana challenging the propriety of the gold royalties monetization transaction arrangement, popularly referred to as the Ejapa deal. 3 anti-corruption groups, including Transparency International, Ghana Integrity Initiative, GII, and the Ghana Anti-Corruption Coalition dragged the government to the CCJ in December 2020, seeking an order to halt the Ejapa deal. The applicants were of the view that the Ejapa deal was dominated by politically exposed persons and also violated the rights of Ghanaians to have permanent sovereignty over the country's natural resources as provided under the African Charter on Human and People's Rights. However, the court sitting in Abuja, Nigeria last Tuesday upheld the defense of the government and dismissed the case of the three civil society organizations. The court said the detailed reasoning for its decision will be made available later. The applicants had argued that the Ejapa deal violated many international conventions against corruption and, if allowed to go ahead, would allow Ghana's gold resources to be controlled by foreigners.
Now, leaders of the aggrieved customers of the defunct Gold Coast Fund Management Company have given government up to July 24 to accelerate efforts to pay their locked-up funds or commence a 36-hour picketing at the Finance Ministry. This is coming after the aggrieved group made a call for the investigation into the Economic and Organised Crime Office, EOCO, over its inability to produce a server needed for an ongoing liquidation case between the Registrar of Companies and Black Shield Capital Fund Management Limited court case. Charles Nyame is the convener of the aggrieved customers and has been speaking on the matter.
We are giving the government ultimatum of 24th of July to pay us our locked up funds because it has been 5 years now, and we have seen the government committing funds to other groups who also fell victim to the government financial reforms in this country, just leaving ours unattended to. We are all citizens, and if something has happened and taxpayers' money are going to be used to pay citizens, we also need to get our equal share. If you go to the courtroom, you will see a deliberate display of delayers, both the government and the Gold Coast Fund Management lawyers. And we don't want to depend on that condition that the government have set. So on the 24th of July, if we don't get our money, we have already notified the police for 36 hours continuous demonstration at the Ministry of Finance. And nothing is going to stop us from doing that if the government fails to pay.
Charles Nyame is the convener of the aggrieved customers of the defunct Gold Coast Fund Management Company.
Now, the Ministry of Public Enterprises says it plans to dispose of 17 defunct state-owned enterprises, including the State Construction Company, Bonsa Thai Factory, and the Bolgatanga Meat Factory, among others. According to the ministry, a review of the companies revealed that they are liabilities to the country because they have been causing financial losses to the state. The Minister for Public Enterprises, Joseph Kujo, says the ministry will also list some of the enterprises on the stock market to attract investors.
When we come to the public sector space, we can envisage it as a portfolio of enterprises. Now, if you take the defunct ones and the active ones, 17 defunct as we count on our records now, we have these defunct entities which government is taking steps to dispose of them because the best government is doing now is just incurring costs to take care of it. But people are vandalizing the assets every day, and it's a disturbing situation so far as the public enterprises portfolio is concerned. This comes through our study of their current situation and then making the projection and realizing that they are just siphoning money from government purse and have become liabilities rather than assets. There are some, upon the review, we intend listing them on the stock market because it is possible to get the investing public, Ghanaians, having equity stakes in them. So it's like a cleanup of the portfolio so that we get those that are active and can be invested in to grow and generate jobs for the good people of Ghana.
You hear the Minister for Public Enterprises, Joseph Kujo.
Let's head to the Ashanti region now because family members of a woman who was allegedly murdered by her boyfriend have expressed disappointment after the case was adjourned on day one of the trial at the High Court in Kumasi. Now, the matter was adjourned because the accused, a police officer named Ahmed Chumesi, told the court his lawyers were not available. This thus compelled the court to adjourn the case to the 26th of July 2023. The family of the deceased, Victoria Dapa, is worried that the manner in which the trial was adjourned could delay the proceedings, which could ultimately delay the justice they are seeking.
You're still listening to Citi Prime News. My name is Zoe Abube-Eduardo, and I'm here with Kweku Ediaman. Some stories we've been bringing you so far. Ghana Education Service closes Binduri Senior High School due to lack of food for students. And also, family of woman allegedly murdered by her police boyfriend in Kumasi unhappy with adjournment of case on the first day of trial. Still ahead, Ghanaian literary icon Amata Edu to be laid to rest today. We'll bring you the details of this shortly. Please stay with us.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
1xBet Jackpot is here with weekly massive prizes up for grabs. All you have to do is place your bets on any sports game and stand a chance to win. Simply register at 1xbet.com.gh. Use promo code JackpotGhana and place your bets. 1xBet is your key to great victories. Feel like a winner. 1xBet.
Gambling can be addictive. Bet responsibly. Not for person under 18 years. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission.
Home is your sanctuary. So set the mood with candles, fragrances, ambient lighting, and beautiful art to create that unique atmosphere that feels like home. Visit the Orca Deco Superstore on Spinkters Road today.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back to Citi Prime News. Move to the Bono East region now, where a total of 424 frontline workers who helped in the management of COVID-19 in the region have been honored for the role they played when the pandemic hit Ghana in 2020. The Bono East Regional Minister, Kwesi Edujan, speaking on the award ceremony, urged health workers in the region to continue to put in their best to save lives.
In the Bono East region, we have 424 frontline health workers who have been nominated for this award. On behalf of His Excellency the President, I am here with my Chief Executive, the Chief Executive of Kentampo Municipal Assembly, and the Regional Director of Health Services to present the awards and certificates to you, the awardees. You have been awarded today in appreciation of your hard work during the COVID-19 pandemic in the country. His Excellency, the President, acknowledges your distinguished services, leadership, passion, commitment, and sacrifice to save lives of the people and saving the nation during the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic. I urge you to always put up your best and prioritize the health needs of your clients, the Ghanaian citizens. Your hard work has preserved our population and won for our nation a global praise. We are proud of you. Keep it up.
Kwesi Edujan is the Bono East Regional Minister. Some of the awardees also spoke to Citi News.
I feel very happy to have received this award for doing what I was supposed to do as a surveillance officer. So going forward, I think we've given all our best, at least, to make sure that whenever there is any issue in the system, we're able to play it.
Yes, I'm very happy for the recognition done, especially me, by the President through the Minister. I know that the efforts I put in during the fight against COVID has gone noticed by the highest man in the land. So I'm very happy and grateful.
What should be expected from you?
That I will continue to put in my best in what I do. In fact, we won this award by simply doing our work. So I'll continue to put in my best effort to make sure that the health of Ghanaians is really catered for. And then any other epidemic that might come our way, we'll be able to fight it as we did COVID.
Those were some frontline workers in the Bono East region honored for their service in the management of COVID-19.
Now, stakeholders in the construction industry have raised concerns regarding the recent spate of building collapses in the country. Some attribute these incidents to the use of cheap and substandard building materials. In this report filed by City News' Rachel Engman and read by Nashika Caesar, she explores key factors identified by these stakeholders.
Over the past 3 months, Ghana has witnessed at least 5 reported cases of collapsed buildings under construction, some of which resulted in the loss of lives. 3 incidents occurred in the Greater Accra region, 1 in the northern region, and 4 within a span of 2 weeks in May this year alone. Just recently, a 1-story building under construction collapsed in Amamfum Assemblies, a suburb of Amamfum in the South Municipality, claiming 2 lives and injuring 3 others. As this distressing trend continues, stakeholders in the construction industry have expressed their concerns. A brick molder refuted claims that they compromised on quality to save costs during mass production.
One, you have to consider the kind of sand that you want to use for the blocks. We have 3 types of sand. We have the smooth one for plastering, we have the medium for blocks, and the rough one also. But if you use a smooth one for the blocks, you won't get the quality that you want. But if you use the medium, because there's this kind of rough, it's mixed, so you get a quality. And if you want blocks, 1 cement bag, you should at least get about 30 blocks. That's for a quality block. But some people do even go to 40, 45. You see, so the more the blocks, the lower the quality. So that's also a problem. That's what I think they do most. But mixing with inferior goods, some may do, but most of the problem is what I'm telling you.
At a building materials outlet, a vendor revealed that the recurring collapses are primarily attributed to human behavior. He explained that despite the warnings, some stubborn customers insist on purchasing cheaper products.
In terms of the work they are going to do, so like for the concrete work, as for the cement, they request for the 42.5 R. And that's for the mortar work, they use 32.5 R. But let's say for recently, sometimes they came in for maybe the cheapest one because they say they don't have money. And so they just came in and asked for the lowest one. But some came in for the highest one in terms of the work they are going to do.
So when people come here to buy from you, to buy building materials from you, do you take them through probably, let's say, let them know the quality of the product?
I ask them the work they are going to do. So I can choose for them. So you can use this one, but they will decide for themselves. Yeah.
So when they decide that they prefer the cheaper ones or let's say the inferior ones, you just let them go?
You can't stop them because what do you call it? You describe everything to the person. But if you say, I don't have money, what will you do? Me too, I don't have money to buy for them, so I'll sell for them like that.
In an interview with City News, Foster Osai Akono, who is the president of the Ghana Institute of Architects, attributed the collapse of buildings to the negligence of certain regulatory bodies.
Where if those who are issuing the permit do not have the right capacities, it becomes increasingly difficult to understand exactly what document they have and what. So, for instance, you don't just issue the drawings, but there are other requirements, which some of which are the soil investigation or the soil test, what we call geotechnical survey, and that will also inform the structural engineer who is designing the structural aspect of the project in terms of the foundation and what have you. The soil report will also let you know the soil bearing capacity, among others. So if those issuing the permit do not have the requisite capacity in terms of qualification and experience, then it becomes difficult they let things just go under the water. The other thing is what we call development control, where it is expected of the authorities that matter to make sure that whatever development is going on, they monitor it. They do what we call state by state. So they don't leave the developer go full stream without they checking to make sure that the right thing is done according to the drawings that they have approved, according to the specifications, among others.
Additionally, Engineer Abdullah Mahama, a road and building consultant, advised the public to seek the services of professionals to work on their project in order to prevent any untoward incidents.
You see that the concrete that are supposed to come in that kind of blocks are powdery. And once they are powdery, you know that the water to cement ratio is not being done according to design, where you have a lot of sand instead of more cement, so the mixed proportions are different. And I've noticed with some keen interest that the iron rods that are in the system, people are changing the high tensile and using the mild steel. The two come in different categories. They have different strength. So, and the size, the costs are also different. So if you see people starting to use the mild steel for otherwise high tensile design, we're going to have some of these problems. And cement, for instance, has jumped from like 54 cedis last year to about 95 cedis now. And so if you have, and there are two types, there's a 42.5R and then 32.5R. The 42.5R has a higher strength. So when clients are not well informed by their supervisors and they go in and buy the 32.5R for otherwise 42.5R concrete, these are some of the things that we're going to experience in the system. So iron rods, cement, even chippings has gone high. And all that I want to say is that we need to have proper or well-established or engineers to supervise our buildings for us. Otherwise, we're going to have challenges like we begin to have in the system. And there should be a great concern to government to actually see to it that we get the bad nut out of the system.
City News' Rachel Engman filed that report and read to you by Nashika Caesar.
Let's still stay with that story because the Engineering Council of Ghana has disclosed that its investigation into the collapse of high-rise buildings in the country has identified the engagement of non-professionals as one of the primary causes. The council emphasizes that several factors contribute to these disasters, but it strongly advises developers to enlist the services of qualified professionals. Dr. Kwame Boakye, the board chairman of the Engineering Council of Ghana, announced during the inauguration of the joint committee between the Engineering Council and Ghana Standards Authority that the council will soon release its findings to the public.
One of the things that we have observed is that people tend not to use, the competent, professionals in designing, these structures and in building these structures and in supervising. I'm not saying that that's what happened, but this is something that we have observed. Now, the forensic team will get, all the facts, and then at the appropriate time, we will actually, hold, a session with the public.
That was the board chairman of the Engineering Council of Ghana, Dr. Kwame Boakye. Now, the Dean of School of Business at the University of Cape Coast, Professor John Gachi, is cautioning government to be more prudent with the off-proceeds from the contingency fund. His comments come on the back of the disclosure by the finance minister on the floor of parliament that the contingency fund now stands at 200 million cedis. The amount is out of the total amount of 1.33 billion cedis that Parliament voted between 2017 and 2022 for the fund. But Professor Gachi argues that the current state of the country's buffers is not encouraging, as it may further worsen the economic fortunes of the state.
So the contingency fund is created by the Constitution to provide a buffer for the finances of the country. So even if you are to use it, you must use it conservatively, bearing in mind that it's not supposed to be exhausted because it's supposed to be protecting the finances of the economy. So if you just go into it, if it's any other fund to use, that is a misplaced agenda, and that shouldn't be encouraged at all. Most of the buffers we have in our finances have been eroded over time, and for others, the only buffer left is the contingency fund. Some other buffers like heritage fund and stabilization fund have to hit seriously. They are not, the heritage fund, for example, is not supposed to be used. So even though it's a buffer, it's only a buffer in terms of fostering some balance in the balance of payments account. So each buffer is not as strong as it used to be. So for me, the only buffer left is the contingency fund, and then we have to be very careful in what we do with it so that the exposure of the country will be limited.
That was the Dean of the School of Business at the University of Cape Coast, Professor John Gachi.
Now, the Ministry of National Security has denied reports alleging that the Ghana Armed Forces' involvement in the forced repatriation of Burkinabe refugees from Ghana. In a statement, the ministry affirmed Ghana's unwavering commitment to offering shelter and support to Burkinabe nationals who have been displaced. The National Security Ministry added that the repatriation process is consistent with international protocols on the management of refugees and has so far been implemented in collaboration with Burkinabe immigration authorities along the Ghana-Burkina Faso border.
Now, the Member of Parliament for South Dai, Roxanne Nelson Dafiamepo, has urged the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, SHRAJ, to seek assistance from Professor Frimpong Boateng in gathering evidence for its investigations. The MP filed a petition with SHRAJ requesting an inquiry into a report produced by the former Minister of Environment regarding the activities of the dissolved Inter-Ministerial Committee on Illegal Mining. Joining us on the phone lines is lawyer for the MP, Nikpapo Samuel Ado, to tell us more about this. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, instead of asking SHRAJ to seek assistance from Professor Frimpong Boateng to do its work, why don't you make the work of SHRAJ easier by you liaising with the former minister to get details or the fine details of the report?
Well, good afternoon to you, Zoe. It is not the job of a petitioner to go subpoenaing persons with adequate requisite information for SHRAJ. You understand? Yes, there's no issue actually. SHRAJ has asked us for further and better particulars. And we are stating to SHRAJ that, look, we have provided you with the complete report as we have it. And as public-spirited persons, such as my client who is a member of parliament, that is the extent to which he can go. The Constitution and the Act establishing SHRAJ gives SHRAJ the power to do what? To use subpoenas and to go further, to be able to get any documents or evidence that is so required. And so all we have to do is to point them in the right direction. And we believe that Professor Frimpong Boateng has indicated, with time without number, that he's ready to cooperate with any investigation. He is the author of the report. So he's the best source for you to be able to get the fine details that you are looking for. We only provided you with the report as we have it. And I think that ends our side of the work.
Okay. So can you give us details of what SHRAJ requested you to do when
they requested of us to do a couple of things. Provide some further better particulars about some specific allegations that had been made in the Frimpong Boateng report. And we have indicated to them that per the mandate of SHRAJ and per the fact that the petitioner is not the author of the report, Professor Boateng is the best person placed to give you those fine details that you are looking for. So they should direct their letter to him. And I won't be surprised if they have also written to Professor Boateng to require him to provide these further and better particulars.
But have you liaised with Professor Frimpong Boateng yourselves? Have you spoken to him?
We don't have.
That's the point you are making, that we don't have to. Our duty, that is the duty of the petitioner, who is a member of parliament, is to provide the evidence that he had by way of the report. He did that, the whole report. He gave Shraj the entire report. Now, if Shraj is looking for specific information in particular, you go to the correct source, which is the author of the report. The author of the report is alive, is available, and you have been given the powers of subpoena. So all you need to do is to subpoena that person to provide you with the details that you want, and he will do so.
So if the professor is not ready to give out the said information, what becomes of your petition?
Have you asked the professor whether he's not prepared to cooperate with Shraj, and he has said he's not? I don't think that will be fair to him. You need to call the professor and ask him whether the professor has stated anywhere that he's not prepared to cooperate with Shraj, or whether Shraj has written to him asking him for better and further particulars of any matters contained in his report.
So I was asking, what becomes of your petition? Does it die?
That is what I'm saying, that no, you asked the question that I think is an unfair question because it is premised on a situation that has not yet happened.
I said, what if? It wasn't definite. What if?
Yes, but the what if must be premised on something that is factual. And I'm saying that the what if isn't factual for me because the Professor Boati has not said that he's refusing to cooperate by providing the information. So I think you should ask Professor Boati whether he has been called or whether he has been written to and whether he will not provide the information. Then maybe we would go a step further to then go ahead and see whether we can provide alternate information. But the best source of the information is alive and he's prepared to cooperate, at least from the reports I've heard in the media and I've read about. He's indicated that he's prepared to cooperate with whatever investigation agency is tasked to investigate this matter.
Do you find Shraj's demand as absurd?
Very reasonable. I find their request to be very reasonable and normal. In the course of the investigation, we are the petitioners. So yes, they will come back to us and ask us, oh, we need this extra information. We have also then pointed out to them that they need to go to the author of the report because that is the proper source for those better and further particulars. The person who wrote the report is alive and is ready to cooperate. So rather than ask us, we believe that if you ask him, he will give you the information.
What's the next or the way forward for you now?
It's just to wait and see what Shraj will say. We've given them our response. And so we are expecting that they will write to Professor Boatin and ask for the necessary information.
What was contained in your response to Shraj?
Pardon?
What was contained in your response to Shraj?
The same thing I'm telling you, that we believe that Professor Boatin is the better person and the better source to provide them with the better and further particulars they are looking for.
So you want Shraj to investigate some particular persons in Professor's report?
No, what we said is this. We gave Shraj the report that we had purportedly authored by Professor Boati. He hasn't denied it. You understand? They then come back to us and say, we need some better and further particulars about certain persons and certain events and certain issues that have been raised in the report. We then write back to them and tell them that the author of the report, in our opinion, is the best person placed to give you that information. That's all.
All right. Thank you so much for speaking to us. That was Nipako Samoa Ado, and he is lawyer for the Member of Parliament for South Dai, Roxanne Nelson Dafia-Meko, who has urged the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Shraj, to seek assistance from Professor Frimpong Boating to gather some evidence for its investigation. Do you recall that the MP filed a petition with Shraj and he requested an inquiry into a report produced by the former chairman of the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, who also doubled as the Minister of Environment. You're still listening to Citi Prime News. My name is Zoe Abubedu Ado here with Kweku, Adriama and Sam. We'll take another breather here. When we return, we'll take you to Parliament where the minority wants government to suspend plans to lease the Tema oil refinery. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Get ready to experience the ultimate rhythm, melody, and culture fusion at the Afro Pop and Hip Life Music Night on The Voice Factory Season 5. Join us for an explosive evening of music that will make your heart race, your body move, and your spirit soar. Prepare to immerse yourself in the vibrant sounds of Afro-pop and hip life music as our talented contestants take the stage to showcase their incredible vocal talents and entertain you with their infectious energy. From the hypnotizing beats of Afropop to the rhythmic flow of hip life, every note will transport you to a world of celebration, unity, and pure joy. Look forward to some fun this week as we enjoy some Afropop and hip life music on the Voice Factory Season 5. Tune in to the Voice Factory Season 5 on Saturday, 15 July 2023 at 6:30 p.m. Follow the prompts to vote for your favorite contestants via the short code *920*973#. You can also visit citytvonline.com/Voice Factory to vote. The Voice Factory Season 5 is brought to you by Ebony Condoms, refreshed by Eddie's Pizza, official voting partner Nalo Solutions, refreshed by McBerry Twist Cupcakes, and sponsored by Copen Hospitality. The Voice Factory is powered by Citi TV with support from 97.3 City FM, Alisa Hotels, The Nash Beauty Parlor, and stitched by Wenia.
This Citi Prime News at 12 midday updates you on all the running stories and connects you to the newsmakers.
Grateful for your time. Now, the minority in Parliament wants government to suspend plans to lease the Tema Oil Refinery TOR to a private firm, Torrentco Asset Management Group, for more stakeholder engagement. Under the new agreement, TOR will be leased to Torrentco Asset Management Group for $22 million for 6 years and is expected to refine up to 8 million barrels annually. Also in the deal, the group will pay $1 million as annual rent and an additional rent amount of over $1 million per month. Speaking to journalists, the ranking member on the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament, John Jinapor, says the deal, in its current form, will not inure to the benefits of Ghanaians.
We believe that that contract is inimical. That contract will not inure to the benefit of the country. That contract will not benefit the ordinary Ghanaian, and that contract does not meet value for money. We are therefore calling on the Akufo-Addo-Bawumia-led government to put a halt to this lease agreement, engage further with stakeholders, and ensure that we find a long-lasting solution to the problems confronting TOR. These firefighting approaches will not help the refinery. The refinery alone has seen about 5 different managements under the Akufo-Addo-led administration. It does appear that they are playing with the refinery. It does appear that there is no seriousness being shown when it comes to the management and revitalization of the refinery. And so we call on government to immediately halt this lease agreement and ensure that we go through a transparent process. We go through a process that gives everybody a fair playing field, equal opportunity, so that eventually we can identify a strategic partner that will not only ensure that the refinery is put to good use, but that the refinery serves the overall interest of the nation. On this note, the minority wish to serve notice that if President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia do not heed to our call, we shall use every legitimate and constitutional processes available to us, including parliamentary processes, to ensure that we compel this government to listen to the good people of Ghana. Enough of the mess in the energy sector. Under this government, we've had so many scandals in the energy sector. The PDS scandal, the Ameri scandal, the Boss scandal, the TOR scandal. In fact, it is just too many and it's getting worrying. We would ensure that the right thing is done and we will do everything within our capacity. And I mean everything within our capacity to see to it that this rape of the nation's resources is not materialized.
John Jinapor is ranking member on the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament.
Now, President Akufo-Addo has eulogized the late author Amata Edu for her immense contribution to the development of Ghana and the African continent. The president paid tribute during the burial service of the playwright at the forecourt of the State House in Accra. The renowned academic passed away on Wednesday, May 31, aged 81, after a short illness.
Through her work, she made a tremendous contribution to the development of our country and continent, and expressed so many of the feelings about our fate as Ghanaians and indeed as Africans. Ama Ata Edu carved a stunning career spanning 7 decades, where's his fame for, quote, taking African literature back to one of its primary origins, unquote. She exemplified the famous words of that great Kenyan writer, Ngugi wa Thiong'o, that the written words too can sing. Her plays and essays captured the imagination and spoke directly and unambiguously. The books and plays contain compelling experiences that will never be forgotten by anyone who had the privilege to read or watch them. Indeed, plays she wrote as far back as 1964 are still being studied in our schools because of their continued relevance to the growth and development of our nation. Literature, in her own words, quote, must serve a purpose to expose, embarrass, and fight corruption and authoritarianism, unquote. As a tireless advocate for women, it was her belief that women are the first-line educators of our children, our communities, our nations, our region, and our continent, and that we empower our children by empowering our women. She fought against a multitude of hurdles, cultural, economic, religious, and social, that faced women, and urged leaders across the continent, and indeed across the world, to take appropriate actions to implement fully and efficiently commitments needed to improve the welfare of women and girls on the continent.
President Akufo-Addo.
Still at the same event, the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, shared his fondest memories of how the late playwright Ama Ata Edu motivated him to write. The former president disclosed this during the burial service of the late playwright at the forecourt of the State House in Accra.
It's one of our most famous writers. We've all known her as kids growing up reading her works. But my closest encounter with her was when I published my first coup d'etat. And she came for the launch and then also visited my house where we held a reading party. And she encouraged me to write again, but I've not been able to prevent it. And so we are all sad at her passing. She was a very strong character and stood for women's rights and so, also for the African personality. So we wish that
That was the flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama.
Now, residents within communities along the Apollonia-Afienya stretch want government to come to their aid by fixing the deplorable road. They say the deplorable nature of the road has worsened following continuous downpour. City News' Philip Nilate has the rest of the story.
The Apollonia-Afienya Road qualifies to be the most deplorable road in the Katamanso municipality. Only motorists with vehicles which are four-wheel drive and trucks can ply the stretch, as no saloon vehicle uses the road. The road, which is in a very bad shape, worsens whenever there is a downpour.
I was trying to, now it was raining, then I was coming from Afienya, and a friend said, hey, Master, where are you going? I said, I'm going to Apollonia. And he said, no, I cannot go because the road I can't go. It was terrible. I tried there, but now it was very terrible.
Wow.
Seriously.
But you even use a high-rise car?
Yes. So the road there, in fact, is very terrible. So if you are doing a report, then make sure you do it very well so that they will come to our aid. Yes, I'm a contractor and I often do use the roads. Okay. But sometimes if it is too rainy, we don't pass here, we use other routes. Yeah, because you can't go. You can't. Because provided if it is raining and then the place is flooded, how can you go? You can't. So.
Is this how it's been like this for
no, it's been like this for a while now. Mm-hmm. Because I think that the road is on construction and then we don't know what happened before the stop. What the authorities should do. You understand? Because this one, if you, even the government yourself, you come pass here, it will tell you, say they should construct this road. Because it's the road which linked to Afenya to OEB and then Dodoa area. Yeah.
Fred Akon, who plies the road on a daily basis, says though heavy-duty trucks contribute to the destruction of the road, if the stretch is made robust, all vehicles can easily ply the road.
If the road is not proper constructed, if rainfall, what will it happen? Yeah. So that one day, you can't say because of the road, rain shouldn't fall. If it falls and then the road is not good, yeah, it will get it too much damage.
What of the big trucks?
They also contributed. But, okay, so if they're going to take their load, where would they pass? They're also one of the fats, but where would they pass? Yes, the construction, we don't have a tipper trucks road or trailers road or whatever. We will use the same routes. So it's not their fault.
Commercial motorcyclist,
also known as Okada rider, Wise Kojo Tagbo, says residents within the communities along the Apollonia Afenya Road heavily rely on Okada as their only means of transport. According to him, commercial vehicle drivers have stopped plying the road.
You see, this road is very, very bad, and it's not helping. You can't even use trotro to pass this road. Nobody will be on their right senses and put their car on this road. And the only source of transport here is the motorbike. And sometimes the police will come and be harassing them, taking money from them because people are saying that Okada is illegal. And the Okada is the only source of transport around here. The road, constructing the road from Afenya. My brother, you go and see. You go and see the new road they're constructing. Already having a pothole. And even the road is not finished yet, or was not even completed. But there is a lot of potholes on the newly one they're constructing. And the old one, you can't even use your car to pass here. You just try it and you see. You have to cross rivers, dams. Just look at my motorbike. I just crossed here. There's no transport on this road. The only source of transport here is Okada.
Commercial motorcyclist,
also known as Okada rider, Wise Kojo Tagbo, says residents within the communities along the Apollonia Afenya Road heavily rely on Okada as their only means of transport. According to him, commercial vehicle drivers have stopped plying the road.
Forget, it's a fight bad first, because if you won't go to the town, you want to go to this one, it was smooth pass. It's a lot of problem. Last time you meet at the assemblyman. Assemblyman says we are working with this road. So you say you are working it. And the MP there, you know me, I don't know what the MP said.
But what are the authorities doing to fix the road? Joseph Tete is the Member of Parliament for Katamanso.
I needed to do, I have done it. Like appealing for these roads to be awarded. I remember there was a time, there's one road from Apollonia to Bawalishin. I did some follow-ups. That road was also awarded. I was there when one contractor called me. That is the one coming to work on the road. So I was within a 6 here to get gravel from Apollonia City. So which we were in the process of doing that, and the contractor moving, did some 1 or 2 grading, and that was it. Cannot see the contractor anymore. So virtually most of the roads that are in bad shape have been awarded. In my constituency, if you take the Kung to Tor Road, if you take Atadika Road, if the contractor started some work on it before the last 2020 elections, but since then the road was abandoned. The Apollonia to Afenya Road, the road is in the very bad state. That one too, there's a contractor. Our contractor is supposed to be on site. Because when you apply that road, you realize the contractor came and did some bridges, then left sites.
City News' Philip Nilati filed the report.
Now, the Greater Accra Regional Minister Henry Korte is calling on residents of the Ayawaso Central Municipality to rally behind the new Chief Executive of the Assembly, Archibald Kobina. This follows the resignation of Alhaji Mohammed Kwe as Municipal Chief Executive on grounds of ill health. President Akufo-Addo has since nominated Mr. Kobina to take over. Speaking at the ceremony to confirm the new MCE, the regional minister commended the nominee for his service to the New Patriotic Party and the Ayawaso Central Municipality.
Beni Achengbe radio station ko bedane but one thing that he did, he never attacked my personality. He spoke on principle. He attacked principle.
He has been modest in his speech, but the truth of the matter is, he is indeed fit for the purpose. I therefore introduce him to you. He has risen through the ranks of the party as a regional organizer and has been faithful to the constituency.
That was the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Henry Korte. And that's it for Citi Prime News. We came to you live from our studio at Adabraka in Accra. For more news, log on to citynewsroom.com. My name is Zoe Abube-Eduardo, and I'll see you with
Kweku Eduamansa.
Many thanks for your time.
City News, we speak first. Reach our hotline on 0302 224959 and get interactive on Facebook, City 97.3 FM, and on Twitter at City 973.